It was supposed to be another chapter in the endless saga of billionaire rivalries, a clash of egos played out on television screens and social media feeds. But what unfolded between Elon Musk and Mark Cuban was no mere spat. It was a seismic confrontation that exposed the fault lines of power, truth, and influence in the digital age. What began as a pointed critique on a cable news show escalated into a public reckoning, culminating in a face-to-face showdown that left one man standing and the other silenced. This is the story of how two titans of industry clashed over the soul of information, and how the world watched as the narrative shifted forever. The opening salvo came in May 2020 amid the chaos of the COVID-19 lockdowns. Governments had shuttered businesses, schools, and entire economies in the name of public safety, and the world was grappling with uncertainty. Elon Musk, the enigmatic CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, made headlines by defying California's lockdown orders, reopening his Fremont factory, and calling the restrictions fascism. His words were a lightning rod, sparking debates about liberty, science, and the role of government. But instead of engaging Musk's arguments head-on, the establishment sent one of its most polished warriors to the front lines, Mark Cuban, the charismatic billionaire known for his Shark Tank swagger and media savvy. Cuban chose his battlefield carefully. Fox News' Your World with Neil Cavuto. Seated in a plush leather chair, he flashed his trademark grin, the kind that made producers lean forward and viewers take notice. Cavuto, ever the neutral referee in a fracturing media landscape, prompted Cuban to respond to Musk's rebellion. "Anytime something affects Tesla, Elon throws a tantrum," Cuban said, his tone dripping with rehearsed disdain. "It's not about freedom with him, it's about profit. Always has been, always will be." The camera caught Cavuto's raised eyebrow, a flicker of intrigue. Cuban pressed on, dismissing Musk's framing of the factory reopening as a defense of liberty. "If liberty were a battery pack, he'd slap a price tag on it and sell it with a SpaceX logo," he quipped. "He's not Rosa Parks refusing to move to the back of the bus. He's trying to bulldoze the transit system so he can build a Hyperloop and charge you $500 to ride it." Cavuto, sensing the escalation, pivoted. "But you advised President Trump during the Economic Reopening Task Force. Isn't there overlap in wanting to get the economy moving?" Cuban's laugh was sharp, practiced. "There's a difference between being bold and being reckless. Musk isn't a freedom fighter, he's a CEO with a God complex. He doesn't see a pandemic, he sees a PR opportunity. He doesn't see lives, he sees production numbers." Cuban leaned back, shaking his head with theatrical patience. "I care about small businesses, about jobs, but I don't wrap my self-interest in the American flag and call it patriotism. Elon wants to look like he's on the front lines of liberty while he's tweeting from his mansion, acting like a rebel hero. It's Ayn Rand fan fiction with electric cars." The audience at home felt the sting. Cuban wasn't just critiquing Musk's actions. He was attacking his moral core, framing him as a profiteer masquerading as a patriot. Cavuto tapped his pen, probing further. "Tesla's stock surged after Musk threatened to move operations out of California. Doesn't that suggest investor confidence or maybe public support for his stance?" Cuban leaned forward, voice low and pointed. "It says the market loves spectacle. Elon's rebellion isn't about policy, it's about optics. He wants to be the last man standing against the machine. But make no mistake, he is the machine. When called out, He doesn't defend with substance. He tweets, he memes, he dodges accountability with hashtags. Cuban's words landed like a gauntlet, and for a moment, the air hung heavy with the weight of a narrative taking shape. Elon Musk, the tech emperor who'd gone too far. For over 2 years, the feud simmered. Musk launched rockets, sold cars, and pushed the boundaries of innovation, while Cuban played the measured mogul on cable news, offering insights laced with jabs at his rival. But the tension reignited in November 2022, when Musk acquired Twitter in a deal that shook the digital world. To Cuban, it was an opportunity. He tweeted with a cheeky tone, "This is going to be fun. Elon's a ready-fire-aim entrepreneur. Buckle up." The words seemed playful, but they masked a deeper intent. When Musk unveiled his controversial $8 blue-check verification model, Cuban pounced. "This destroys everything that made Twitter usable," he declared. "I used to scroll verified mentions to find trusted voices. Now I've got to mute half the nonsense. This isn't innovation. It's chaos with a price tag." Musk's response was curt. $8 for all. No compromise, no explanation, just a rule etched in digital stone. Cuban doubled down, framing the change as a betrayal of Twitter's role as a public square. "If you want to charge, fine, but reward good information, not just $8 from anyone with a credit card." Musk, meanwhile, was busy trolling legacy media, reinstating banned accounts, and tweeting memes about free speech. Cuban's tone shifted from playful to prosecutorial. In an interview, he snapped, "Elon isn't democratizing the platform. He's monetizing confusion. He's turning Twitter into a pay-to-play casino for clout chasers." The battle lines were drawn, and Cuban began positioning himself as a guardian of the digital commons, not just a disgruntled user. The feud took a technical turn when Cuban zeroed in on Twitter's algorithms. In a tweet, he noted, "When Elon replies to someone, that person ends up in your timeline, whether you follow them or not." In a live stream, he elaborated, his tone clipped and professional, like a lawyer building a case. "Algorithms reflect engagement. If I like dog videos, I see more dogs. But Twitter's not feeding me dogs anymore. It's feeding me bulldogs in MAGA hats yelling about vaccine conspiracies, and guess who they all follow?" He raised an eyebrow, letting the implication hang. Elon isn't just influencing conversation. He's deciding who gets to be in it. You engage with him, you get exposure. You challenge him, you get buried. That's not free speech. That's free speech with a hall pass, and Elon's at the door. Musk countered with characteristic bluntness. "Cool as code. Our algorithm is open source. Interact with right-wing accounts, you'll see more right-wing content. Interact with left-wing ones, same deal. It's not politics, it's math." But Cuban wasn't buying it. "Oh, it's open source? Great. Let's run a real audit. Let's see what gets boosted, who benefits. Let's shine light on what math looks like when one guy controls the calculator." The word audit was a dare, a challenge that implied Musk's empire of free speech wasn't as egalitarian as he claimed. The public began to notice, not because they fully trusted Cuban, but because others, journalists, ex-employees, users, started echoing his concerns. Timelines seemed to reflect Musk's preferences more than their own. By late 2023, Cuban escalated the fight to a new stage, Jon Stewart's The Problem. The set was understated, but the stakes were high. Stewart, with his trademark blend of humor and skepticism, prompted Cuban to explain his beef with Musk. "We have to be honest about what's happening," Cuban began, his voice calm but urgent. "Elon Musk isn't just building companies. He's building consensus. He's controlling narrative. Twitter's no longer a platform. It's a proxy, and Elon's steering it." Stewart blinked, sensing the weight of the accusation. Cuban leaned in, looking directly at the camera. "This isn't entrepreneurship. It's technocratic dominion. Elon Musk has become the most powerful, unelected figure on Earth. He provides battlefield communications in Ukraine, decides who gets banned or reinstated, amplifies voices that echo his politics, and silences, yes, silences, those who challenge him." The room inhaled. Cuban pressed on. "What terrifies me isn't that 20% of adults use Twitter. It's that Elon wants that 20% to believe it's the whole world, that if it trends, it matters, that if he likes it, it's true. That's not a social network. That's mind-share colonization." Stewart sat back, for once without a quip. The segment went viral, headlines screaming, "Cuban calls Musk a global threat." But on Twitter, something curious happened. Cuban's name stopped trending. Clips of the interview vanished from top feeds. Accounts sharing it reported throttled engagement. Cuban seized on it, tweeting, "This is what I'm talking about. The man has his finger on the scale, and no one dares say it." The narrative shifted. Cuban wasn't just warning about Musk, he was accusing him of digital tyranny. The stage was set for the ultimate showdown, the Freedom Tech Leadership Forum, in April 2025. The event wasn't about gadgets or AI ethics. It was about power, who wielded it, and who dared to claim it. The auditorium was packed with MAGA influencers, Silicon Valley venture capitalists, libertarian wonks, and media correspondents. Above the stage, in glowing letters, the theme loomed, "Information is power. Who gets to hold it?" Musk and Cuban sat in two chairs, facing each other, the air crackling with anticipation. A screen played Cuban's Stewart clip, his words about Musk's technocratic dominion echoing through the room. The moderator cleared his throat. "Gentlemen, shall we begin?" Musk leaned forward, elbows on knees, voice steady. "I didn't come here to defend myself. I came to defend the truth." The crowd murmured, cameras zooming in. "Last year, CNN compared President Trump to Adolf Hitler. Full graphics, somber music, no retraction. They said nothing. But I'm the threat to democracy?" The audience stirred, some gasping, others chuckling. Musk turned to the screen. "This isn't about algorithms or Twitter. It's about narrative control. Who gets to define reality? Who decides what you're allowed to think?" He paused, letting the words sink in. "I'm not here to pick which truth wins. I'm here to make sure people can choose," Cuban interrupted, his voice sharp, his smirk gone. "Free speech? Is that what we're calling it when one man controls the feed, the frame, the followers? Don't talk to me about truth when your idea of balance is giving a megaphone to conspiracy theorists and banning journalists who call them out." Musk turned to him unflinching. "You mean journalists who peddled the Steele dossier as fact? Or said Hunter's laptop was Russian disinfo until it wasn't?" The crowd laughed, even some of Cuban's supporters shifting uncomfortably. Musk continued, "You want to talk manipulation? You said, and I quote, 'Even on his deathbed, I'd vote for Biden.' That was 2024, Bloomberg. Everyone read it." Cuban opened his mouth, then faltered. "That was about stability," he said weakly, "protecting norms." Musk didn't press. He didn't need to. The line was drawn. You supported a man who doesn't remember his last press conference, but I'm the problem because I won't say what you want to hear? Cuban's jaw clenched. This isn't about Biden. It's about a billionaire rewriting discourse in real time. Musk's reply was quiet, lethal. It's about a billionaire trying to stop anyone else from doing it. The room buzzed, the tension palpable. Cuban tried again, gesturing to the audience. The algorithm doesn't reward diversity. It rewards Elon. You engage with him, you get boosted. You challenge him, you disappear. That's not a network, it's a mirror. Musk shrugged almost casually. Twitter's algorithm is open source. Interact with the left, you see the left. Interact with the right, you see the right. That's not manipulation, that's math. The crowd leaned in, sensing the shift. Then Musk turned, not just to Cuban, but to the country watching. Or is it because I won't endorse Biden that they want me silenced? The question landed like a thunderclap. Cuban faltered, his hands gripping the armrest, sweat visible on his temple. The turning point came unexpectedly. David Sachs, a tech luminary who'd been silent in the front row, rose to speak. His voice was low, deliberate. If Elon is dangerous, then what about all of us? The screen behind him lit up, displaying names: Bill Ackman, Ben Horowitz, Peter Thiel, the Winklevoss twins, tech leaders who'd backed Trump's return. The final slide read, in bold red, "Come on in. The water's warm." Laughter erupted, triumphant. Sachs continued, "This isn't fringe. It's the new establishment. We build things, take risks, and we're done pretending we need your permission to think freely." He turned to Cuban. You don't fear Elon because he broke the rules. You fear him because he proved you don't own the game. Cuban sat rigid, his face tight. The room felt the shift. Musk leaned back, finished. If truth is offensive, he said softly, maybe your comfort has become a lie. Cuban tried to respond. Social media has a responsibility to, he faltered, the words brittle, to maintain balance. No one clapped. No one nodded. The cameras zoomed in, capturing his tense jaw, his faltering resolve. Outside, the internet exploded. Cuban meltdown trended before he left the stage. Clips of his silence, Musk's calm smile, went viral. Captions read, he didn't raise his voice. He just ended the conversation. In the end, it wasn't about who shouted loudest. Musk didn't need applause or zingers. He had timing, a scalpel-sharp line delivered at the perfect moment. Cuban, once the charismatic critic who called Musk a global threat, stood 5 feet from him and couldn't finish a sentence. The debate wasn't about algorithms or blue checks. It was about who shapes the future of information. Musk emerged as the symbol of a new, unapologetic power, backed by a rising class of tech renegades. Cuban's voice, once a clarion call, faded into an echo. America watched, no longer scrolling but choosing sides, as the truth claimed its quiet, undeniable victory.